In the beginning of all of my relationships, even my marriage, um, I talked a little bit about or acted like I was into spirituality. I acted like I was into God. I couldn't act like I knew the Bible because I didn't know the Bible at all. As a kid, my parents, my siblings, we never sat down and held hands to pray before any meal. And you know what happened? You know what that did to me? As I got older, I became distracted. As I got older, I became angry when people prayed before they ate. It pissed me off to no end. And when I would visit her and her family, first thing in my mind before we ate Thanksgiving dinner, Christmas dinner, whatever, was I'm looking around like, who the hell gonna pray long this time? That was my mindset when it came to God and praying in church and Bibles. And I talked about this before. I didn't want to sit in a church. I couldn't stand the smell of the benches that we sat on. I didn't even like looking at the colored pane glass at the church, at the windows of the church. I couldn't stand the smell of a Bible. And I'm telling y'all the honest to God truth. So when you have someone that in the beginning seems to be all into God, likes to hear the word Jesus Christ, will go to church with you and sit in church and think about other things as opposed to what's going on in church. I used to go to church with women just to impress them, but when I was in church with them, I'm looking at the ladies in the choir swinging and dancing, looking at their hips, looking at their butt, and looking at their breasts. And sometimes she would bump me like Leon, and I would lie in church. Like I wasn't looking at her breasts. I was paying attention to what they were saying. But the people in the Bible, in the choir at that time weren't saying anything. She caught me, and I lied in church, on the church, about the church, in front of the church. So when you are in the beginning, you're talking about God and all this stuff, the Bible and going to church, and they're going and they're talking about God and they're listening. Some people are good with verses. I can't quote a verse. I can live by it now. But in the beginning, be careful, because when you talk about it, they're going to act like they're into it and they're not. As soon as they get tired and those little demons get to smoking on their lungs and punch them in the stomach inside, when you talk about God, it's going to be so overwhelming that they will walk away from you in that moment. Be careful with that.